stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Welcome to an impromptu version of the Daily Trudge. I forgot to grab some water, so I'm going to grab a water real quick. Thank you for letting me do that. All right. Good afternoon, Michelle. Good to see you. Yeah. Sometimes I just don't feel like things get done quickly enough. All right. And then I have to remember that things don't get done in Dion's time. Dion's not God. I just kind of wish some things would move a little bit quicker. Yeah, I'm ready to do stuff, but there's always barriers, roadblocks, different things. Hey, Heather, good to see you. I'll just make you double, triple check and make sure you got everything. It's a good chance you're going to forget something. All right. So that seems to be how it works. There's a lot of things going on in my life right now where if people would just get stuff done, my life would be easier. And it actually would be too. According to my view, right? We could, I'm waiting on Aurora Mental Health to make a decision on how they're going to bring me on as an employee and stuff. And now they're like, we'll be able to talk towards the end of the month. I'm like, do you know how much shit we could get done between now and then? That's what goes through my head. A lot of these other people just don't, since they don't work the front lines. Well, it's actually, that's not true. Some of these people do work the front lines. I seem to have more urgency than them, but they're not having to deal with the things day in and day out of these people suffering. Some of them, the rest of them do. I mean, when you work detox is the front lines, man. All right. Leisure, good to see you, because there's not really anybody in detox. There are some that put themselves there, that are there willingly, but most of the people are not. So that's the first hurdle you usually have to get over, taking away your freedom. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. All right. Oh, actually, it's 30. Okay. All right. Sorry. I almost met with the wrong sponsee today. So this sponsee that I'm meeting with, we're pretty much done with everything. Now we're just kind of covering the traditions, and we talk about how he's working with other sponsees, and so I'm helping him work through being a sponsor, things like that. And that's the really fun part, man. That's the really fun part, right? I believe that there is a thing that's God's time, and things will happen in God's time, right? Oh, shit, I forgot to take my meds. Sorry, I'm going to have to take my meds at the same time. But at the same time, there's that human will factor, that human decision that, to where them, maybe they don't see, I could start helping them immediately. Right away. And, I'm kind of anxious to start getting things done. I've been waiting 4 years, actually almost 5 now, to get what we're doing now done. That's how long it took me. A lot of work involved. So is it God's time or are other people being lazy? Kind of the question. Find it funny that people are complaining and whining about, certain things going on. And when I give them the solution, they just don't want to hear it, man. They don't want to hear it. They'd rather sit around and complain of that they're not getting what they want. Well, it's quite often that I don't get what I want. Absolutely. Right now, I'm not getting what I want. I'm okay with it. Kinda. No. The longer they wait on things, but at the same time, it might even be God saying, no, Dion, not yet. It could be as simple as that. Right? I know it's not a no, never. I know that. So how do we separate? How do we separate what our time is and what God's time is? We could probably use some of our emotions for this. I just had to I'm writing out a text. Because somebody did kind of upset me, and there's a need for a reply to it, but it's got to be the right reply, but I'm giving myself time. I got text last night and I decided to wait. I'm not even sure that I am going to respond. Sorry. My grandson's upstairs screaming at the top of his lungs, and that's a little distracting. I'm glad he's happy, but high-pitched screaming irritates me quicker than anything in the world. Not only that, but I'm kind of down here working right now. I have a very large backyard. Go out there. I made the backyard for the kids. All right, give me a second. I'm going to close my door. That's too much. That's just a little too much. Let's see if AI can help us out here a little bit. What's the difference between my time and God's time? See if it gives us anything. So say that, sorry. The main difference between our time, Chronos, and God's time, Kairos, is that God's time is not constrained by physical sequential time as we experience it. God's time is often described as eternal, with the past, present, and future all existing simultaneously to him. We, on the other hand, experience time in a linear, sequential manner. That's one way to kind of take a look at. Not what I was really going for, but it still makes sense. Michelle says, no response is a response. You are absolutely correct, Michelle. In this case, a response is needed. It is. And if I explained it, you would probably agree, but I can't. And there may be no response. Maybe that's just my reaction right now, which is exactly why I wrote it in Word. That way it can't be sent on accident. It's not done in. And even then, I'm going to give it time. I'm going to let it sit there for a little bit. And then, probably best to talk to a couple other people about it first. All right, there's the key. All right. This is not helping. So what is it really? God's time does not map into our time at all. His time is completely distinct from ours. Another view is that God is omnitemporal, right? So, see, God may see things that I'm not quite seeing right now because of my finite mind, because I have other distractions going on, because, maybe something like with this, maybe something's going to happen in the middle of the month that's going to require my attention, and he knows about it, but I do not know about it, right? So what are we really talking about here? I think what we're really talking about is faith. And that faith without works is truly dead. Right? So I got to have faith that because you got to have faith to faith to faith. Baby. I was actually just listening to that a little bit ago. Nice cracking. Cracking for a cracker. Cracker ass, cracker. Sorry, sometimes things pop into my head and it's a stimming thing. Cracker ass, cracker. Now I'm not going to be able to say it. Stop doing that. All right. But faith that God has a plan for all of this, that he's not going to just leave me hanging, that there's purpose, that I have purpose in this life. See, I know that God wants me to help his children, but I don't really get to decide which one. I don't get to just run around and pick and choose on how it's going to be done. It's one of the things that I argue with other people about. I'm like, you're breaking tradition. Yeah, but I do it this way, and that's okay. No, it's not. And the fact that you're not seeing it just tells me that even though you're doing a meeting on the 11th step, that you clearly didn't do a 4 or 5, that you're just utilizing the AA program in order to sell your shit. Yeah, no, got to keep it different. Hey, Amber. In fact, Amber does a really good job of that, because she makes these coins and these spiritual things, but none of her stuff is ever connected to the program. Sorry. That should stop the screaming. Dear Lord. It's hard. It's hard for me to do this when I got a kid going, I don't know if he's in a good mood or not. Okay, that ended. Hopefully they didn't take offense to it, because I had to be loud. I yelled, all right. So, well, here's the thing. I know it might sound a little mean or whatever, but I'm down here working. I don't come to your job and scream at the top of my fucking lungs. There's got to be a little bit of respect for what I'm doing down here. And if that means that I got to yell at my own children, I will. They won't take offense to it, because I don't usually yell. And we discussed it a while back that, I'm only yelling so they can hear me. All right. But, I got to see things the right way. But there are times when I wonder whether it's just other people trying to interfere with it. But I've really, that's what I was saying, is Amber makes that line very definite, right? She sells tie-dye and stuff like that, and maybe chips here and there, but it's listed under arts and crafts and things like that. And the AA program is never brought up. She doesn't even bring up God in any. So it's a separate thing. And I appreciate people that do that. Now, and Amber, I'm just using you as an example here. Now, if she was say, hey, come to our big book study, and then, and I will be doing it. And afterwards, I will give you a link to 10% off my stuff. See, now we're talking about something. See, people are doing that. Right. Anyway, I don't know why I'm stuck on that the last few days. Oh, man. May get over it. Yeah. Pocket charms. See? There we go. Nowhere near anything. Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. She says, I make them for people that aren't in AA too. A lot of people love tie-dye stuff, So, see, there's a right way to do it. But when we utilize AA as a way for promoting our stuff, yeah, see, now that's a problem, right? But usually, I think when it comes, if you come to AA, I'll make you a chip too. Do I have my keys in here? I do. Yeah, here's my chip. Here's my chip. All right. And I had this hanging up. Clara Joyce gave me this, and I love it. But my cats keep fucking with it, and I don't want them to tear it up. One of them even kind of got beat for it. But they just don't learn. They just don't learn. All right. People are like, animals don't remember. Bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, I think what it comes down to is my time tends to be, when I try and do things in my time, it tends to be selfish. It does. It tends to be about me, not thinking of others, because I want to get what I want to get. And me not getting things in my time is kind of a fear. Yeah. Amber says making a 8-year puck for someone soon, and yeah, they don't touch AA. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. AA certainly isn't the cure-all for alcoholism. It is not. All right. And then this is a comment about cats. They remember what time I'm supposed to feed them every day. Exactly. Oh, they remember. Right. If a spider doesn't fear death, then why does it run away when you try and kill it? Why is that? Then why are they hiding from you? Huh? If they didn't have feelings and fear of death. Now I feel bad for every spider I've ever killed. I do. Isn't that weird? Is that weird that I feel that way? I feel kind of bad. Oh. No, that comment was about AAers. Right. But yeah, when we're doing things in God's time, it's kind of altruistic, right? And it's kind of meant to be. And the benefits seem to be better when things are done in God's time. See, we're gonna get gifts either way, but I get sad at killing bugs too, says Amber, teaching that to Isaac as well. Yeah. Michelle says, no, I don't like killing anything. See? Okay. Good to know that I'm not the only one. We're going to talk about so it switched to the guilt of killing bugs. Amber says, he's like, but Mom, I didn't want it to bite me. Told him, if you leave it alone, it'll probably leave you alone. Yeah, if you were walking along and suddenly this giant spider came along, and it just didn't bother you and walked on, are you going to initiate a fight with it? Probably not. Or are you going to run and hide and hope it doesn't see you? That's what I would do. That would scare the fuck out of me. Spider's revenge, right? You got to put yourself in the spider's shoes. All 8 of them. So the gifts that come with different times, right? So if I do things in my time, what's going to happen is I am going to get gifts, but they will be produced by my own oxycontin or what oxytocin or whatever that other stuff is. You know, I will send that energy to the reward center, right? So that I can feel good about what I did, or maybe what I'll do is I'll go live or go on Facebook and brag about what I did. Those are the gifts. But if I do it that way, I do not receive the gifts that I would receive from God. Those gifts still come, but I can't see them because I already got my gifts. So it's already over with. So they just go right over my head. That's what happens when I do things in Dion's time and not God's time, right? And that leads us back to patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. People often tell me that I don't have any patience. I tell them, I've been listening. You think I don't have any patience? Let's talk about some of the things I do have patience for. I have a lot of patience. It's my reactions that suck. It is. It's my reactions that suck. All right. I ain't used to really have patience, especially when it came to alcohol. Right. So understanding that certain things need to get done before other things need to get done. And sometimes that is in somebody else's hands, in somebody else's time. And maybe they don't see it as much of a priority as I do. Maybe they're not feeling the heat like I do. Right. So I got to be careful of that. I've got to be careful about that. Hey, I have some interviews this afternoon, but I should be free at 2. I'm starting a new sober living on Monday in Aurora. All the way well is not doing well. So you're starting a new sober living. Maybe I can help them with that. See? Look at that. Look at that. You see what God did? Just right there. He just did it. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. See? I was worried about one thing with Aurora Mental Health, and then this pops up. See, I like this guy. This is one of these guys that he works for an establishment that I don't really trust. That I don't really trust. But him, right? And if he's going to start up a new sober living in Aurora, then maybe it's time for me to start considering it. Maybe it's time for Dion to get on the sober living train. Maybe not. But I can fill up his house like that. That I can do. I can provide him with resources. I can help out with certain things. Because he's a guy doing it the right way. There it is. God's time again. And what is it? So what is God's time? Well, it's perfection. And isn't that what I'm aiming for? I'm aiming towards perfection. No. I know I'm not perfect. Right? That's not what we're talking about. But I need an ideal. I need to learn that maybe God has a better way for me to go, although he appreciates the actions that I am trying to put in to save his children. Certainly he appreciates that, absolutely. Whether it's my time or his time or whatever time, He does appreciate that. What is another difference between God's time and my time? Do I get to decide when my sponsees have problems on what day and time? That was the hardest part of the program for me. The hardest part. People interfering with my precious, precious time. That was my big one. Just ticked me off. But over the years, I practiced more patience. Yes, I did. So, all right. Well, it looks like I gotta get a few more things done. So, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. We'll see a bunch of you at 5 o'clock here. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And have a day. Have a day in God's will, in God's time. Have a good day. Have a day in God's time. Bye.